Ubisoft shared some interesting new info in their financial call. We got an update on the PS5 Pro. Is it still coming this year? I want to talk about a Sony game that will likely bomb very hard. I think they might delay it, and way more gaming news to go over. So sit back and let's go. The next big gaming show on the calendar is of course Gamescom, starting August 20th, and it will feature more exhibitors than ever. I was there last year, and one thing I really noticed were the increasing amount of Chinese publishers and developers with big booths for HoYoverse, with Genshin Impact and their other titles. Black Myth Wukong was of course there in a big capacity, but also Xbox was there with a Starfield presentation and quite a lot of playable games, and they actually already confirmed that this year they will have the biggest booth ever at Gamescom, and this likely thanks to them also including Activision Blizzard titles for the first time, while last year Activision was not at the show. So they already confirmed some games that will be there, fingers crossed that more are to be announced. Right now the highlights include Avowed, the Diablo 4 expansion and A Tower Born. Like, I would love to see Indiana Jones or the Starfield DLC here as well. PlayStation is once again skipping the event, sadly, although they will have a big presence at Tokyo Game Show for the first time in 5 years. I already talked about what this likely means in a previous video. Check it out if you haven't watched it yet. I will leave a link to it in the video description. I also talk about the PS5 future plans in that video. But yeah, going back to Gamescom, like we know, Ubisoft is probably going to be there. Star Wars Outlaws will be out the week after the event. But I'm mostly curious about Assassin's Creed Shadows, like will that be playable, which is usually the case with big Assassin's Creed titles. The Origins demo let us explore the open world. For Odyssey they had the Medusa fight playable for the first time, but things changed with Valhalla because COVID happened, so Gamescom was not a thing in that year, and Mirage only dropped a new trailer last year at Gamescom. So it might be that Shadows will also just show a trailer and that's it, but I hope I can get my hands on it. Like, I want to know how it plays, and it's a huge game, so they can totally do multiple playable demos for the game. We'll of course keep you posted about Gamescom and Shadows here on the channel. Other big 2024 games that should be there are Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, Dragon Age Dreadwolf, would be cool to play that there as well. We know Monster Hunter Wilds will be playable at Gamescom. There have been rumblings about the return of Crimson Desert, which totally stole the show with this amazing trailer last year. When we have updates on Gamescom, I will of course let you know in these Sunday videos, and we will totally be live reacting of course to the kickoff show on August 20th that will have brand new reveals and trailers. So Tom Henderson, who you likely know, he has been right many times before, posted this tweet talking about the PS5 Pro, which caused some question marks. He then later, in an article on his website Insider Gaming, clarified what he meant. This sentence is the most important. Nothing implies that the PS5 Pro has been delayed or cancelled. Okay, so why the tweet then? Well, because sources are telling him that Sony is still kind of thinking about what they're gonna do with this console, because only a limited number of first-party games will actually use the PS5 Pro features. For the PS4 Pro, Sony used Horizon Zero Dawn, and not only because the game looks of course really impressive, especially on the PS4 Pro, but also because it would launch 3 months later. So you know, okay, I'm gonna get the PS4 Pro, and a game that is coming out very soon will look way better than on the regular PS4. But right now we know that the next big AAA Sony game, like a Horizon Zero Dawn, won't be out until at least the second half of 2025 at the earliest. So almost a year after the PS5 Pro comes out. Still, I don't think that's that much of an issue. Like, if we look at this PS4 Pro ad that they did around the reveal of the console, it shows mostly third-party games. So highlighting like Dragon Age, Assassin's Creed Shadows would be nice for the console. Although you are losing Call of Duty this time, because I doubt that Microsoft would be okay with using Black Ops 6 to promote a new PlayStation console. So high chance Sony will use games that are further out, like a Ghost of Tsushima 2 to promote the PlayStation 5 Pro, and Ghost 1 already looked very good on PS4 and PS5. So I can only imagine what the PS5 Pro version of Ghost 2 will look like. I still think there's something God of War Atreus related, I've said it many times. So like a Miles Morales style game, it would be perfect to have that at the end of this year, but there's nothing right now, no rumors or anything pointing towards that happening. All we know is that the PS5 Pro is still on track, even with the lacking first-party support. Tom Henderson notes that the PS5 Pro versions of games can be submitted on July 30th for certification. For comparison, for the regular PS5, that was July 13th, and that console of course launched in November, so high chance it's the same for the PS5 Pro. I will of course keep you up to date here. Now let's look at Ubisoft's financials, because again they shared some interesting things. I want to talk about a Sony game I played recently and way more. Of course, if you like these big gaming news roundup videos, leave a like, that would really help me out, so thanks for that. And subscribe, because we post one of these gaming news roundup videos every Sunday. Ubisoft just had their investor call for the first quarter of their 2024-2025 financial year, and it revealed some interesting information. For one, where the marketing for the Avatar game felt kinda non-existent when it launched back in September last year. I, by the way, beat the first DLC this week on a stream. It took me 4.5 hours, but I still got a ton of side content to do. And it was fine overall, like nothing crazy, but still a fun time, kinda similar to the main game. If you watch this on Sunday, then you can, by the way, still try the game for free in the free weekend if you search the game on your platform. Now, I hope Star Wars Outlaws is more in the 8 range instead of the 7 range, where I feel Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is kinda at. As you might know, they had a 10-minute gameplay video posted by IGN that we already went over in a previous video, a link to that in the video description, but they now confirmed that press and content creators got an extended hands-on with open worlds across multiple planets. And this was also the biggest preview event they ever did at the company. We should expect the coverage to go live at the end of July, Ubisoft confirmed. Yes, we were invited as well, so expect impressions on the open world of Star Wars Outlaws and lots of new content before the launch here on the channel, of course. For Assassin's Creed Shadows, Ubisoft noted that it's the most ambitious Assassin's Creed game yet. I mean, they kinda always say that. Mirage, of course, wasn't the most ambitious, but yeah, next big RPG. It kinda makes sense. They also say that they think that this will be one of the best-selling games for the company ever. Like Valhalla was the most profitable Assassin's Creed game before it, Odyssey before that, so I do think it can totally happen. And there were more general bits from the call as well that I thought were interesting. So one investor was asking if Call of Duty Black Ops 6 launching on Game Pass would hurt the success of their arena shooter XDefiant, or their bottom line in general. To which Yves Guillemot, the Ubisoft CEO, said that sure, Black Ops 6 launching on Game Pass will mean it will get more players, but also that because people will not have to pay full price for it, that they would actually have more money available to spend on other games. And that's totally an interesting way to look at it. Like, people might try Black Ops 6 for 1 month and then bail, so then they only paid $20 for the Game Pass fee, while otherwise they would have bought the game outright. So now they might look around to spend their gaming budget on other games, which could include Assassin's Creed Shadows or Outlaws that are of course not on Game Pass. Also, in regards to GTA 6 coming next year, the Ubisoft CEO was actually not too concerned about it and said that with the previous GTA launches like GTA 5 and even the next-gen version for GTA 5 on PS5 and Xbox Series, that because of GTA, they actually saw an increased sales to their games. And this is because a GTA release brings a lot of returning and new players back to gaming. And those people might then be also looking around for other things to play after getting GTA 6. Like, GTA 6 will be the biggest system seller for the two consoles, which also means more consumers for Ubisoft and other publishers. Like, they noted how Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag did really well in the same year GTA 5 came out. So I think it's just important to not launch too close to GTA 6, but a few weeks before or after might actually help your game. So yeah, interesting things. Let me know, of course, what you think about this in the comments down below. But for some titles, it doesn't matter when they release. Like the next big flop seems to be Concord, the new PvP 5v5 character-based shooter from Sony. The game has an open beta going on right now, meaning everyone on PlayStation 5 and PC can jump in for free. And well, on Steam at the time of this recording, the peak concurrent has been a little over 2,000 people. We don't know the PS5 player count, but I think that like 20,000, 30,000 people have maybe checked out this free beta in total. And that might be generous. And far from everyone who like played the free beta will of course end up buying the game for $40. So this game is going to sell a few thousand copies maybe. And it's pretty easy to see why. Like, I did a few rounds. First of all, it totally plays well. Like, you really see that PlayStation polish and quality here in how the characters move, how the shooting registers, the graphics are great. But after a few rounds, you already know what this game is and what playing the next few hours or tens of hours will be like. And that's mostly thanks to the uninspired modes like Team Deathmatch or Kill Confirmed. This is also crazy, so I leveled up a few times and look at this. The first reward you get is a weapon skin for one character that I never even played. And it's just a recolor, it's really bad. Then the next time I leveled up, I got a new profile picture for my account. And if I level up again, I will get a new background for that profile card. Who thought that this was exciting to entice people to keep playing? So yes, I think after this open beta weekend, Sony really has to come together with the teams and be like, what do we do? Do we cut our losses and release like this? Then it will probably be forgotten in a week. Or do we delay the game and give the team more time to make something that people actually want to play with unique modes? Maybe a PvE, because again, the characters feel great, it's fun to shoot. Why not fight against AI? Maybe that will be the savior for this game, because there are not a lot of games like that. So while we have many free-to-play team-based shooters. There are also these pretty well done cutscenes actually, where a crew is chilling on a ship and they interact with each other, but it feels very disconnected from the PvP multiplayer, where then these characters suddenly go kill each other. It's kinda weird. So my prediction is that Sony will delay it from the August 23rd release date to 2025 to get more testing done and maybe have more content ready. Although you could also argue that even with more time, it was just a bad idea to make a PvP hero shooter in this day and age to begin with. Now, I'm curious to hear if you played it or what do you think of this in the comments down below. This coming week, the second season for Suicide Squad will launch on July 25th. Speaking of a game that flopped hard. I know you probably don't care about this. I still thought it was cool to highlight the traversal of Mrs. Freeze. That looks pretty fire. I should probably say icy. I mean, the movement in this game was always the best part. And yeah, it's cool to see the new character. I will probably not jump back in though. I still think the campaign was a lot of fun. I totally recommend that, but just delete it afterwards. So hopefully it comes to Game Pass, PS Plus, so you can check it out. And yeah, July is overall pretty quiet, but we got still some videos, of course, coming your way with the gaming news roundup like this at the end of the week on Sunday. So subscribe to not miss it. A like would be awesome. And check out that big PS5 Future video by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.